The reason I'm so surprised at what happened last night is because they showed many things that they were over this. Yeah. They showed over the course of the regular season and winning the division and playing different style of hockey under Craig Berube that they wouldn't have these types of efforts. And I truly thought they were over these kinds of efforts.
Oh, yeah.
Me too.
So that's why it's so shocking. I thought they'd lose this series. I picked the Florida Panthers to win in 7.
So did I.
But I didn't think they would have collapses like this where it's an embarrassing effort and we would all be saying these same things again. And then they did it, and you realize that no matter what, it's the two guys at the top. It's because the rest of the team, I think Brad Treliving has done a good job building out the lineup around these two individuals. Because I think it's time to single out Marner and Mathews, but because those two guys are the most important members of the team in the first line, they play together and they must play together no matter what, that if they don't have it, nothing else matters, and they will never have it.
It's the mix. It's the mix. It's the mix. We've talked about this how many times? Well, if the top guys don't have it, no, they're dead. Conversation is over. We're waiting for Scott Laughton to take over a game. We're waiting for Steven Lorentz to take over a game. What are we doing?
And I don't even think it's the mix in terms of like the core four. I think it's the two guys. I think it's Mathews and Marner, and then the rest trickles down from there because of how important they are.
The question has to be asked. The question has to be asked. And I know the answer for Mitch, so I don't even know if I need to ask that question. Does Auston Matthews, highest paid player in the league, have the ability to take over a playoff game when it matters?
No.
Does he have the ability to take over a playoff series?
No. When has he shown it?
Well, exactly.
And he's had enough chances to display that, and I don't think where he's at right now in his career that you can believe that he has it in him.
Right.
And I question everything from Mathews now on downwards, and should he have gotten the captaincy? If you're expecting your captain to be this type of player who can take over playoff games, score big goals, and he's not that guy, then there needs to be questions about why they gave him this captaincy.
And remember, let me put this into context.
Sure.
To give you an idea, okay? Mikko Rantanen in these playoffs has 9 goals in 11 games, 19 points, okay? In their last 48 games in the playoffs.
48?
48, dating back to 2019, 2020.
Okay?
In their last 48 games, Mitch Marner has, I'm just pulling it up on my notes here, 8 goals.
Man, he gets a lot of assists.
Matthews,
a lot is
48 games, Steve.
48.
Mathews is 15. So at a certain point, it is exactly what you guys said it is. Here's what I believe. I believe Mitch Marner has spent millions of dollars in the last couple of games. Mm-hmm. I believe that Mitch Marner will go and get a contract. It will not be anywhere close to what he is asking for. Yeah. But if you're a team and you give this guy more than what Mikko Rantanen got, and I know Texas is a tax-free state, I got you. Okay, you give him 13. Just expect that this is going to be how it is, because it's how it's always been.
Adam, people dying of thirst in the desert will drink their own piss. So, I'm sure Chicago will.
Someone's going to give it to him.
Someone. Maybe that wasn't the nicest analogy, but there are some terrible teams out there who are like, damn, having a guy who struggles in the playoffs sounds like a hell of a luxury. Let's go. Welcome to the Blackhawks. Welcome to the Ducks. Welcome to the Sharks.
And, does it come down to the mix? Well, you look at Mikko Rantanen, and basically the two places he's been a monster.
Remember when I got crap for saying Mathews and McKinnon when they go head-to-head? It's McKinnon and it's not close. They're not in the same galaxy. They're not. And I badly wish they were. I know what the regular season numbers say. I know he has 2 60-goal seasons. We saw it with our own eyes. We saw it. I swear to God I was there. I swear to God it happened. I saw it. But when push comes to shove in these big games, they're not even sort of close. They're not. Marner's a very, very good player. Mathews is a very, very good player. We're watching guys like Mikko Rantanen still, McDavid, and
where does Mikko Rantanen
Draisaitl.
score all his goals?
He goes to the net, Adam. He goes to the friggin' net. He scored
had
a goal
3.
not even standing up.
He could have had 3 against the Jets the other night, and it ended up being Granlund that got 3. But he had brilliant tips out of the air, and I'm using Mikko Rantanen as a backdrop to this. I could pick a year. I can use someone different.
Yeah.
But I'm using Mikko Rantanen because he's the guy who's the best right now.
Yeah.
And he's been the guy that's been consistently the best. His teams just haven't gotten deep. You know, Jesse and Steve, if I am looking at this from a like a fiduciary responsibility, like spending money.
Good word.
How can a general manager here go to the board after playoffs like these and say we need to re-sign Mitch Marner? I don't think that
the Leafs?
Yeah, I don't think that the board could.
I don't think either of them want to stick around.
Yeah,
like the GM, the Bradshire Living doesn't want Mitch Marner back, and Mitch Marner doesn't want to be in Toronto. I don't even think it's a conversation at this point between anybody in
like
the front office.
That was basically it, right?
He refused to negotiate with the team. They wanted to negotiate back in the midseason. They I think it was 3 times during the season they approached him to talk about the contracts, and every single time he said no. And then they approached him about a trade, and he said no about that. And then he has this type of playoff performance. Neither of them want to be together. They're divorced now, and it's over. So I don't even think that's something you have to approach the board with.
I'd delete his agent's number from my phone.
Yeah.
Well, there's other players,
and he represents Sam Bennett. Like, no, I'm over the Darren Ferris thing. You take your circus somewhere else. No, thank you. You know, if there was a Marner contract offered at some point, it's in a fireplace somewhere in the building.
They
behind
took it
us.
back.
Yeah, I don't. It's a good question, Adam. I don't think it's even a conversation. No sadistic sadists would put themselves through this again. You've got to be kidding me. There's no way.
In the end, it's the best for everybody because going up against Florida is a blessing in disguise because we got to see finally, I think for the end, because I think this is the end, what the Leafs team with 9 kicks at the can is capable of.
We could be celebrating a tough win in a few weeks.
Yeah.
We could be. I swear to God, we could be.
We could, but
from this perspective, and I don't care if somebody comes back and the Leafs win the next 2 games, then they go to the East Finals and then they go to the Stanley Cup Finals, and someone clips this goes, "Hey, remember this?" I'll be like, "Yeah, remember how you felt too." If they turn it around, there'll be nobody rooting them on harder, and that's what makes this worse.
To the 5% of Leaf fans that actually applies to, God bless you.
Yeah,
I wish I was you.
And then if I could just finish that,
please. Sorry,
going up against the Florida Panthers is a blessing in disguise because you've seen the ceiling of what your 2 top players are capable of.
Yes,
they're up against a team that is better than them. They're going up against great competition. If you want to say the teams are a little close, like it's 55-45 in terms of skill or whatever, they've gone up against an opponent that is a great litmus test, and they don't have it, and they've had enough tries to display that they've had it, and this is kind of like the final boss, and they're getting eliminated. So it's over, and it's a good thing.
And yeah, I think, I mean, you know what, Jesse? What would have been a good thing is if they'd figured it out in 21, 22, 23.
Yeah.
I mean, those were the years to really do something about it because you could have actually traded one of these guys and got some value back. And now you've got Nylander in accumulated games 5, 6, and 7. This is a Joey Ferg thing. He keeps updating this. In accumulated games 5, 6, and 7 since 2019. Nylander, 19 games, 16 points.
That's pretty good.
Matthews, 17 games, 11 points.
Not as good.
Tavares, 16 games, 10 points.
What are the goals number on Mathews?
8.
And how many games?
19.
And what games are these?
5, 6s, and 7s.
Okay.
So 18, 8 goals, 8 assists.
Mediocre.
Sorry,
given
19, 8 goals, 8 assists, 16 points. So that's Nylander. Matthews, 17, 7, and 4. Tavares, 16 games played, 5 and 5.
Okay.
Marner, 19 games played, 0 and 6.
Unplayable.
As in 6 assists.
Those are unplayable numbers.
And so
it's under a third of a point a game. It's unplayable.
Well, he becomes like you're scoring at the same rate as Scott Laughton.
You're Callie Arncroke playing 22 minutes a night.
And that play, do we? I can't even think of it because I'm so out of it today. Do we have that Marner play? Can we walk through that?
Sure.
Because this is the brain fart of all brain farts.
Are we doing the NHL Edge thing? Will it show the dot doing a spin?
we can just show it here.
does that.
Just that. Mitch
This.
Marner.
So this is Mitch.
Backhand spinny.
Backhand spinorama.
Man.
And where does it end up?
You do not need to do this.
No.
It
There.
ends up, Mathews is even like, what are you doing? The Panthers, I don't know how the Panthers anticipated something this dumb would happen, but they turn it up the ice. It's an odd man rush. Marner's late backdoor for Jesper
I'll
Boquist.
show you that one. Yeah.
How you had
There he is.
like a 30, 40 foot head start on this guy,
Yeah. How does he get beat there?
and you get beat. Like, what is Joseph Woll supposed to do?
Yeah, and unfortunately, the problem with having Mathews and Marner on this team is that they have to be on the ice together. And Mitch Marner, based on the numbers you just read there, becomes a nervous shell of what we know of Mitch Marner in the regular season when the playoffs come around. So you have your best player playing with a player who basically is Scott Lawton.
Yes.
On your first line.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that is what your team turns into.
Yes.
And that trickle-down effect of your first line playing like nonsense spinny garbage trickles down to your second, third, and fourth line, and you get
Yes.
results like this. They can't be on the same team together anymore.
So
It's under. It's,
Well,
it's
but here's the
I
thing.
agree,
Yeah,
but-
but at some point last night too, I was thinking like literally break this lineup. If Mathews and Marner are going to play this way, Matthew Nyes looks like he cares.
Yeah.
Put him next to Tavares and Nylander, who at least
they
were
did,
doing something
briefly.
Briefly.
I
mean, it
honestly
took
think
that.
you need to put them on 3 separate lines for
Yeah.
Game 6. They've been so bad. Like the Ottawa series when they speed wobbled a bit, you're like, all right, I think they can do this though. They'll get it back together, and for the most part, they kept it together and they got it back on track and they won. And that same lineup went up 0-2. You know what's funny? The Leafs have to win 2 straight against Florida right now. That's something they did last week.
Yeah.
They can do it.
they haven't lost 4 games in a row all season.
Oh, what a great time to start.
LMAO.
That's
What a great
the-
time to start.
and-
LMAO. So funny. LOL. LMFAO even. Oh my God.
I gave up on that fight of not having Mathews and Marner play together because once Mathews came back from his injury, Brewer put them together, and he's played them together more than any of the head coaches in the past, more than Keefe, more than Babcock. But I was banging the drum so hard, and we all were, when Mathews was out. Mitch Marner looked like a Hart Trophy candidate.
Yeah,
Yo,
he did.
I made
right.
a video on my channel. I think it was like late November or like mid-December or something. I ranked the Hart Trophy candidates. It might have been like mid-season. And I had Mitch in 5th, I think,
Yeah.
in terms of like deserving of a Hart Trophy award because of how he held up this team on his own when Mathews wasn't there. And they were the number 1 team in the East at the time, I believe, or maybe just second, just trailing Washington. But he was doing it through an individual effort and playing without Mathews. And they looked at that and they said, but they want to play together.
They're so stunningly predictable, Jesse.
New
That's
rule.
the problem.
New rule. Stats before the Winter Classic don't matter. New rule. NHL.com.
before the Olympics.
Leave the page blank next year before New Year's. New rule. But no, you're so right.
But no,
about
because
that.
it's no matter how much evidence you have that Marner is a better player with Mathews, even though you play him for a month without him and he can win a Hart Trophy without him, they still got to put them together when it matters most.
Dude. Here's where I am. It's Thursday. They just lost Game 5. Game 6 is tomorrow. It's at 8. We found out last night. Sick league. We're going to be back here tomorrow. I mean, no, we're not.
Saturday.
We're going to be back. You will. We're going to be back here Saturday.
No matter what.
Yeah. We're doing a Saturday segment right now.
No, I'm not done with the stats. Don't worry.
Which, no. But the Saturday segment is they blow up the team. They can't play together. Da, da, da.
No, because like
I agree,
the
though.
effort on Friday is going to be better because it always is.
It always is. Do we have to leave it open to the possibility they might tie it?
Oh,
Do
yeah. Yeah.
There will be a time to generally speaking, we don't do autopsies on bodies with a pulse, generally speaking. It's a light pulse, but there's it's in there.
And the series, but the series is
might
gettable.
4-6.
But isn't that why we're having this conversation?
4-7, sorry.
Isn't that why this is frustrating? Isn't that why it's insane that they came out with an effort like that? Isn't that why?
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that so you see a series, you know the Panthers are gettable, you know they're not healthy. You beat them in the first 2 games. And they changed their fourth line, and all of a sudden you can't handle them?
It's crazy.
Like, Joseph Wylde doesn't handle pucks as well as Anthony Stolarz, so you can't handle them?
It is a factor.
It's a factor.
It's a fact.
Steve, come on.
Yeah, I agree.
Let me give you this, okay?
Hit me.
Oilers, and you read this stat out yesterday too, but Hayden sent it to Robert.
Producer
Knight.
Hayden, just the Grim Reaper.
So in closeout games in which either team can be eliminated, McDavid, 21 games, 12 goals, 21 assists, 33 points.
What a monster.
Draisaitl, 21 games, 6 goals, now 20 assists because he got an assist on the winning goal, 26 points.
What a monster.
Mathews, still 20 goals because neither team could be eliminated last night. 20 games, 7 goals, 7 assists, 14 points.
Not good.
Marner, 21 games, 2 goals, 13 assists, 15 points.
Not good.
Nylander, 22 games, 10 goals, 11 assists.
The only adult in the room. Stop crying, bro. The only adult in the room.
So the reason we have this mini autopsy, this autopsy where we're predicting where this is going, is because we've seen it before. This is the point. This is 9 years of this. These guys don't have it. They don't have it.
No.
Unless they somehow show that they do. And even let me ask you this, guys. Okay, they win Friday.
Woo!
Amazing. Back on the bandwagon. Let's go. Passion 10 out of 10. Here's another one. They win Game 7 Sunday.
Oh my freaking God!
Do you feel any differently?
No, because they're going to get stomped by Carolina.
No! Boo this man. I agree.